I thought my husband was working late every Thursday until his boss invited us to dinner and mentioned the company doesn't do overtime. We met in college, third year. He was finance. I was marketing. We sat next to each other in an economics elective, and he asked to borrow my notes after he slept through a lecture on supply curves. You drool when you sleep, I told him. He grinned. But do you have the notes? I did. I also had his attention for the next 4 years. He proposed on a beach in Maine, down on one knee in the sand, ring box shaking in his hands. I said yes before he finished asking. We were 24. Thought we knew everything. Thought love was enough. The wedding was small. His parents, mine, close friends. We honeymooned in Portugal, drinking wine on cobblestone streets, making promises we meant to keep. For 6 years, we kept them. He worked in finance. Long hours, yes. But he came home. We ate dinner together, watched terrible reality TV, made love on Sunday mornings. Normal, comfortable, safe. Then the project started. Big client. He said one Tuesday in March, going to need some late nights for a while. How late? Not sure yet. Maybe a few hours after normal. Which nights? Probably Thursdays, maybe Fridays. I kissed him. We'll manage. The first Thursday, he texted at 6, running late. Don't wait for dinner. I ate pasta alone at the kitchen table, scrolled through my phone. The apartment felt too quiet without him. I turned on music, poured a second glass of wine. He came home at 10:30 p.m., exhausted, tie loosened, smelling like coffee and stress. How was it? I asked. Brutal. He kissed my forehead. But we're making progress. I reheated the pasta. He ate standing at the counter, showered, collapsed into bed. I curled against his back. Love you too. The second Thursday was the same. Text at 6, home at 10:30, same exhausted face, same coffee smell. Still making progress? I asked. Slowly. He rubbed his eyes. Sorry about this. It's okay. Just temporary, right? Right. But it wasn't. Week 3, week 4, week 5. Every Thursday, the pattern repeated. Like clockwork. Text at 6, home at 10:30, coffee and stress and silence. I adjusted. Started planning dinners I could eat alone. Made Thursday my night for long baths, for catching up on shows he didn't like, for calling my sister. Still working late? She asked during one call. Every Thursday. That sucks. It's fine. Big project. How much longer? Not sure. He said they're close, but they never seemed to get close. Month 2 became month 3. March turned to April. April to May. I stopped asking when it would end. Stopped mentioning it at all. Just accepted it as part of our routine. Thursday was his late night. I was supportive, understanding, a good wife. Some Thursdays I'd wait up for him, sit on the couch with a book, listening for his key in the lock. He'd look surprised to see me awake. You didn't have to wait up, he'd say. I wanted to, but he'd still eat in silence, still shower and go straight to bed, like he didn't have energy left for me. Other Thursdays I'd go to bed early, leave his dinner in the fridge with a note, heat for 3 minutes. Love you. He'd slip into bed around 11, trying not to wake me, but I always knew when he arrived. Felt the shift in the mattress, smelled the soap from his shower. I'd pretend to sleep, give him space. By month 4, I barely noticed the absence anymore. Thursday became my night. I'd plan things, dinner with friends, yoga class, grocery shopping without rushing. One Thursday in June, my friend Sarah asked me to dinner. Can't do Thursday, I said automatically. Why not? You're free, aren't you? I paused, realized what I'd said. Yeah, actually I am. We went to a Thai place downtown, sat outside, drank wine in the warm evening air. How's married life? Sarah asked. Good. Same as always. When's the last time you two went on a date? I thought about it. Couldn't remember. We're busy. It's fine. Sarah looked at me over her wine glass. Didn't say anything, but I felt judged anyway. On the drive home, I saw a couple walking hand in hand. Young, laughing about something. He pulled her close, kissed her temple. She beamed. Something cold settled in my chest. We used to be like that. Another Thursday in July, I tried a new yoga class. The instructor talked about finding balance, about making space for what matters. Are you making space for joy? She asked. Or just for obligation? I lay on my mat during final relaxation, stared at the ceiling, thought about my empty apartment, my reheated dinners, my Thursday nights alone. Was I making space for joy? I didn't know anymore. That night, when my husband came home at 10:30, I was already in bed, pretending to sleep. He showered, slipped under the covers, didn't try to touch me. I opened my eyes in the dark, stared at his back. When did we stop touching? Month 5 arrived with August heat. The apartment had no central air, just window units that barely worked. Thursday evenings became unbearable. I'd sit on the couch in a tank top, eat ice cream for dinner, watch the fan push hot air around the room. Sometimes I'd text him, "It's so hot. Come home early?" "Can't. Almost done here." But he was never almost done. One Thursday, my mother called. "How are you, sweetheart?" "Fine. Just hot." "Where's your husband?" "Working late." "Again?" "He works too much. It's a big project. He should make time for his wife." I felt defensive, angry. "He's providing for us. It's important. You're important too." After we hung up, I cried. Didn't know why. Just sat on the hot couch and cried into my melting ice cream. September brought relief from the heat, but not from the Thursdays. I started making plans every week, kept myself busy. Book club, museum visits, long walks through the park, anything to avoid sitting in the apartment alone. You're never home on Thursdays, my husband observed one Friday morning. Neither are you. He looked stung. That's different. How? He didn't answer. Just grabbed his coffee and left for work. October Thursday. I stayed home, made a nice dinner for myself. Salmon, roasted vegetables, opened a good bottle of wine, set the table with our nice plates, the ones we got for our wedding. Cloth napkin, candle. Sat down alone, looked at the empty chair across from me, started crying halfway through the salmon. This wasn't fine. We weren't fine, but I didn't know how to say it. Didn't know how to explain that his absence had created a hole I couldn't fill. How's work? I'd ask him on Friday mornings. Good. Projects moving along. Still need Thursdays? For now. How much longer do you think? He'd shrug, pour his coffee. Hard to say. You know how these things go. I didn't actually, but I nodded anyway. Month 5, month 6. I started to resent Thursdays. Started to hate the text that came at 6 like clockwork. Started to dread eating dinner alone at the table where we used to sit together. Maybe I could bring you dinner at the office sometime, I suggested once. He looked panicked for a fraction of a second, then smiled. That's sweet, but the building's really strict about security after hours. Wouldn't be worth the hassle. Oh, okay. Month 7. I stopped making special dinners on Thursdays. Started just ordering takeout for myself. Sometimes I didn't eat dinner at all. Just snacked, drank wine, went to bed early. He didn't seem to notice. We still had sex. Still said I love you. Still existed in the same space. But something had shifted. Something I couldn't name. On a Wednesday in October, I asked him directly, "Is everything okay? With us?" He looked up from his laptop. "Of course. Why?" "I don't know. We barely see each other anymore. It's just the project. Once it's done, when will it be done? Soon. You've been saying that for months." His jaw tightened. "I know. I'm sorry. I'm working as fast as I can. I felt guilty for pushing. I know. I'm sorry too. I just miss you. I miss you too." He pulled me into a hug, kissed the top of my head. "Just a little longer. I promise." I believed him. Why wouldn't I? Month 8. October became November. The air turned cold. I bought a new coat. Started planning Thanksgiving. Asked if his parents wanted to come visit. "They're going to my sister's this year," he said. "Want to go there? Long drive. Maybe just us this year?" Sounds nice. But I felt lonely just thinking about it. Thanksgiving for 2, in our apartment, with him probably checking work emails through dinner. On a Tuesday in early November, he came home with news. "My boss wants to take us to dinner." I looked up from chopping vegetables. "Us? You and me, this Friday. Some steakhouse downtown. His wife will be there." "That's nice. Why?" He shrugged. "Team appreciation thing, I guess. He's doing it with a few people." "Sure. Sounds good." I felt a small flutter of excitement. Date night. Sort of. A break from routine. I went shopping that Thursday. Bought the blue dress my husband liked. Got my hair done. Shaved my legs. Applied makeup carefully. "You look beautiful," he said Friday evening, adjusting his tie in the mirror. "Thanks. You clean up nice too." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. He seemed nervous. Kept checking his phone, adjusting his collar. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Fine. Just want to make a good impression. It's your boss. I'm sure he already thinks highly of you." We drove to the restaurant in silence, his hands tight on the steering wheel. I watched the city lights blur past my window. Tried to remember the last time we'd gone out together. A real date. Not just errands or obligatory family events. I couldn't remember. The restaurant was nice. Dark wood, low lighting, cloth napkins. The kind of place that made you whisper. Expensive. The kind of place you save for special occasions. His boss was already there, sitting at a table near the window. Mid-50s. Gray hair. Expensive suit. Rolex catching the candlelight. He stood when he saw us, extending his hand. "You must be the wife," he said, shaking my hand firmly. Too firmly. "I've heard so much about you. All good things, I hope." "Of course. Of course." His grip was too tight, his smile too wide. "Please, sit. My wife should be here any minute. Traffic, you know how it is." We sat. The chairs were plush, heavy, the kind that made you feel important just by sitting in them. The waiter appeared immediately with water and menus. Leather-bound, gold embossed. My husband ordered scotch before even opening the menu. I asked for wine. Red. The boss leaned back in his chair, completely comfortable. This was his territory. "So, how are you enjoying this weather? Bit of a cold snap, isn't it?" "It's not bad. Better than summer." "Oh, I hate the heat. Can't stand it. Give me a crisp fall day any time. That's why we go to Maine every August. Get away from it all." "Have you been to Maine?" "Once. For our honeymoon, actually." My husband's head snapped toward me. "Maine?" "We went to Portugal." My face flushed hot. "Right. Sorry, I was thinking of something else." Why had I said Maine? We'd never been to Maine. The words had just fallen out. I was nervous, flustered. The boss laughed. "Well, it's important to remember your own honeymoon at least." I laughed too, forced, tried to recover. Portugal was beautiful. The wine country especially. "I've never been. the boss said. My wife wants to go. Maybe next year. His wife arrived then, 15 minutes late, breathless, apologizing. I'm so sorry. Traffic was a nightmare. Construction on 5th, then an accident on the bridge. It's fine, dear. The boss pulled out her chair. Didn't stand. Just reached over and yanked it. We were just getting acquainted. She had kind eyes, warm smile, soft voice, tired looking. The kind of tired that comes from years, not just one bad night. I liked her immediately. I'm so glad to finally meet you, she said, reaching across to squeeze my hand. Her grip was gentle, warm. My husband talks about your husband's work constantly. I feel like I already know you. Does he? Oh yes. Very impressed with the quarterly numbers. Top performer, apparently. The waiter returned. Took her drink order. Wine for her too. Red. Same as mine. Should we get appetizers? The boss asked. Then, without waiting for an answer, he gestured to the waiter. We'll take the calamari, shrimp cocktail, and oysters. I'm allergic to shellfish, his wife said quietly. Not confrontational, just factual. Oh, right. He waved his hand dismissively. Scratch the shrimp and oysters. Just calamari then. And some bread. She smiled at him, but it didn't reach her eyes. I wondered how many times this had happened, how many times he'd forgotten, ordered for her, dismissed her. My husband barely touched his scotch, just held the glass, watched the ice slowly melt. His knee bounced under the table. I could feel it shaking the floor, making my water glass tremble slightly. Nervous? I whispered, leaning close. No, but he was lying. I could always tell. The way his jaw tightened, the way he wouldn't meet my eyes. The boss started talking about a golf trip, some client outing in Arizona, desert course, 100-degree heat. Apparently someone's ball landed in a cactus and they'd spent 20 minutes trying to extract it. You should have seen it, he laughed, loud enough that people at nearby tables glanced over. $300 club, stuck in a saguaro. Guy was practically in tears. We laughed politely. The story wasn't that funny, but you laugh at your boss's stories. That's the rule. The calamari arrived, fried rings with marinara and aioli. The boss took 3 pieces immediately. My husband took none, just stared at his plate. Not hungry? I whispered. Not really. You should eat something. You barely had lunch. I'm fine. But he didn't look fine. He looked sick, pale, like he might throw up right there at the table. The boss's wife turned to me, saving me from the awkward silence. So, tell me about your work. What do you do? Marketing, for a tech startup downtown. Oh, how interesting. That sounds creative. Do you enjoy it? Most days. It has its challenges, but it's good work. The hours are better than finance anyway. I meant it lightly, just making conversation. But my husband's hand tightened around his glass. I heard the stem creak. The boss laughed. Finance hours aren't what they used to be, let me tell you. When I started back in the 90s, we'd pull 100-hour weeks. Sleep at the office, live on coffee and takeout. Now it's all work-life balance this, mental health that. That's probably good though, I said. More time with family. Exactly. He gestured to my husband with his fork. This one here has been killing it this quarter, by the way. Really impressive numbers. Up 30% from last year. Best on the team. I felt a flush of pride. Despite everything, despite the Thursdays. He was good at his job. That mattered. He works really hard, I said. Even with all the overtime he's been putting in, I added, trying to participate, trying to be part of the work conversation, trying to be the supportive wife who understands her husband's career. The words left my mouth casually, innocently, just making conversation, making small talk at a business dinner. The table went quiet. The boss's face changed. Confusion flickered across his features. His fork paused halfway to his mouth. Overtime, my stomach dropped. The wine in my glass suddenly looked too red, too dark, like blood. We don't do overtime, he said slowly, carefully, like he was working through a puzzle. Company policy. Everyone's out by 6:30 at the latest if they're wrapping something up. But we're pretty strict about it, actually. The whole work-life balance thing I was just talking about. HR monitors it. We had a guy try to bill overtime 2 years ago, and he got written up. My husband's hand went white-knuckled around his glass. I heard the stem crack slightly. Tiny fracture. Not broken. Not yet. But close. Burnout prevention, the boss continued, still trying to understand, still trying to make sense of what I'd said. We learned our lesson in the 2000s. Lost too many good people to stress-related illness. I started. Stopped. Couldn't think. Couldn't breathe. Maybe I misunderstood. Could be happy hour, the boss said, trying to help now. Trying to smooth over the awkwardness that had settled over the table like fog. We do team drinks sometimes after work. Thursdays, actually, now that I think about it. Some of the guys go to that sports bar on 7th. Maybe that's what he meant. Though it's usually just an hour or two, not really overtime. It's fine, my husband interrupted. His voice was tight, strained, like a rope about to snap. She's confused. Different project, different time. But that wasn't true. I wasn't confused. 8 months of Thursdays. 8 months of 10:30 arrivals. 8 months of working late. 8 months of lies stacking up like dinner plates. The boss looked between us, his face uncertain, sensing something wrong but not understanding what. Not his problem, not his marriage, Not his business. His wife jumped in. Bless her. Sweet woman saving us from ourselves. So tell me more about your marketing work, she said, voice bright and forced. What kind of campaigns do you usually run? Social media? Traditional? I answered on autopilot. Something about social media strategies, digital advertising, metrics and engagement rates, target demographics. Words coming out of my mouth without my brain's involvement. My voice sounded distant, like someone else was speaking. My hands were shaking under the table. I put them in my lap, gripped my napkin so hard my knuckles went white. Everyone's out by 6. He comes home at 10:30. 4.5 hours unaccounted for. 8 months of 4.5 hours. Over 1,000 hours of lies. The entrees arrived, big plates, white china, steaming food that probably cost more than my weekly grocery budget. My salmon looked perfect. Crispy skin, lemon butter, asparagus, roasted potatoes, chef's kiss presentation. I cut into it, put a bite in my mouth, couldn't taste anything. Could have been cardboard. The boss told a story about a client who'd tried to negotiate a deal through interpretive dance. Some startup founder, tech genius, social skills of a rock. Apparently he'd stood up in the middle of a conference room and started making hand gestures at the whiteboard. Most bizarre thing I've ever seen in 30 years of finance. He laughed, cutting his steak. Blood pooled on the plate. His assistant was recording it on her phone. I thought he was having a stroke. We all laughed. Even my husband managed a weak smile. But the tension remained, thick enough to cut with the steak knife. The boss's wife asked my husband a question. Something about his college. Where he went, what he studied, making conversation, filling the silence. Boston College, he said shortly. Finance major. Oh, lovely. My nephew went there. Class of 2015. Do you know? No. The answer was too quick, too sharp. She looked taken aback. I mean, probably not, he amended. Big school. I barely heard any of it. My mind was stuck. Looping. 6 o'clock. Everyone's out by 6. 10:30. 4.5 hours. 8 months. Where was he? The boss tried to engage my husband in conversation about a new regulation. Something about tax law. My husband answered in monosyllables. Yes? No. Maybe. I don't know. He pushed food around his plate, cut his steak into smaller and smaller pieces. Didn't eat any of it. I finished my wine, ordered another. The waiter looked concerned. The boss's wife gave me a sympathetic smile. Dessert menus appeared, heavy cardstock, elaborate descriptions of chocolate ganache and vanilla bean this and that. The boss ordered coffee, black. His wife ordered tiramisu, planned to share. Anything for you? The waiter asked me. I shook my head. Couldn't imagine putting another bite of food in my mouth. My stomach was twisted in knots. Are you sure? The waiter pressed. The creme brulee is excellent. It's our specialty. She's fine, my husband said quickly. Too quickly. Just the check when you're ready. I can speak for myself, I said. Too sharp. Too loud. Heads turned at nearby tables. Everyone looked at me. Sorry, I said quietly. Forced a smile. Headache. The boss's wife touched my arm. Her hand was soft, gentle. Are you all right? You do look pale. Do you need aspirin? I have some in my purse. No, thank you. I'll be fine. But I wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. Everything felt tilted. Wrong. Like the restaurant was spinning slowly and I was the only one who noticed. Like gravity had shifted and I was the only one falling. The boss paid. Insisted when my husband tried to pull out his wallet. My treat. Team appreciation, remember? Company card. It's a write-off. We thanked him. Thanked his wife. Said all the appropriate things. Made all the appropriate faces. Great dinner. Lovely to meet you. We should do this again. Lies wrapped in pleasantries. In the parking lot, the cold hit me. Sharp. November air biting at my exposed skin. I'd left my jacket in the car. Hadn't thought I'd need it for the short walk from parking lot to restaurant. I was wrong. The boss and his wife walked to their car. Black Mercedes. Probably cost more than our annual salaries combined. The boss's wife hugged me. Held on a beat too long. Her perfume smelled like vanilla and something floral. Feel better? She whispered in my ear. And take care of yourself. Did she know? Had she sensed something? Recognized something familiar in my eyes? I nodded. Couldn't speak. Afraid if I opened my mouth I might cry. Might scream. Might fall apart right there in the parking lot of an expensive steakhouse. Then it was just us. Walking to the car. The November air bit at my exposed skin. I should have brought a jacket, but I couldn't feel the cold. Couldn't feel anything. My husband unlocked the car. We got in. He started the engine, pulled out of the parking lot. The silence pressed against my ears. Heavy. Suffocating. We stopped at a red light. Where have you been on Thursdays? I asked. My voice was calm, quiet. That terrified me more than if I'd been screaming. We should talk at home, he said. We can talk now. The light turned green. He accelerated, eyes fixed on the road. It's not what you think, he said finally. What do I think? He didn't answer. We pulled into our driveway. He put the car in park, but didn't turn off the engine. We sat there. In the dark garage, engine running, ticking as it idled. Talk, I said. He gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. I've been taking a class, he said finally. A class. Pottery. The word hung in the air between us. Absurd. Impossible. I started laughing, couldn't stop, high-pitched, verging on hysterical. Pottery? I repeated. For our anniversary. I'm making you bowls. The laughter died in my throat. You've been lying to me for 8 months about pottery? I knew you'd think it was stupid. Stupid? My voice went cold, sharp as glass. You let me eat dinner alone every week, made me feel like I wasn't important, like work was more important than me. All for pottery? I wanted to do something special. You made me feel abandoned. I turned to look at him, really look at him, for ceramics. I'm sorry, I didn't think. No, you didn't think. I got out of the car, slammed the door. I went straight to our bedroom, locked the door, sat on the edge of the bed in my blue dress. Pottery. 8 months of Thursdays. 8 months of loneliness. 8 months of adjusting my entire life around his schedule. For pottery. I heard him try the door handle. Can we talk about this? No, please. Sleep on the couch. Silence. Then footsteps retreating. A door closing somewhere in the apartment. I sat there for an hour, still in the dress, still in heels, staring at the wall. Something didn't feel right. The explanation was too simple, too neat. 8 months was a long time to make bowls, even elaborate ones. I grabbed my phone, typed pottery classes near me into Google. There were 3 studios within a reasonable distance. I clicked on each website, checked their schedules. None of them had Thursday night classes. My hands started shaking. I called the first studio. It rang 4 times before someone answered. Hello, Riverstone Pottery. Hi, I'm looking for information about your Thursday night classes. We don't have classes on Thursday, only Monday and Wednesday. Are you sure? Yes, ma'am. We're closed Thursdays for studio maintenance. I thanked her. Hung up. Tried the second studio. We do Thursday classes, but they're from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. For retirees mostly. Not him. I hung up. Called the third studio. Do you have a student by my husband's name in your Thursday class? I asked. My voice was shaking now. I couldn't control it. The woman paused. What's the name? I told her. Let me check our roster. Silence. Keyboard clicking. No, I don't see that name. And actually, we don't have classes on Thursdays. Only Monday and Wednesday evenings. Are you sure? Positive. I teach the Monday and Wednesday classes myself. My hands went numb. The phone felt heavy, like I might drop it. Thank you, I whispered. Hung up. I sat there, on the edge of the bed, in the blue dress. In the dark. There was no Thursday pottery class. My husband had lied about the overtime, then lied about the pottery. 2 lies. 2 layers. What was underneath? I didn't sleep that night. Sat on the bed fully dressed until the sun came up. Heard him leave for work around 7. The front door closing quietly, like he didn't want to wake me. I called in sick to work. Couldn't imagine sitting at my desk, pretending everything was normal. I showered, changed into jeans and a sweater, made coffee I couldn't drink. Then I waited. The apartment felt different in daylight, cold, unfamiliar, like I was seeing it for the first time. Hours crawled by. I sat at the kitchen table. Couldn't eat, couldn't watch TV, couldn't do anything except wait. He came home at his normal time, 5:45. I heard his key in the lock, the door opening, his footsteps. He found me at the kitchen table. Hi, he said carefully. Are you feeling better? There's no Thursday pottery class. His face went white, completely drained of color. I called the studios. All of them. My voice was still calm, quiet. That scared me. Nobody has classes on Thursday nights. So where have you been? He stood frozen in the doorway, briefcase in one hand, keys in the other. Sit down, I said. He sat, slowly. Wouldn't meet my eyes. Where have you been? I asked again. Silence stretched between us, so thick I could barely breathe through it. Her name is Claire, he said finally. She's a coworker from the Dallas office. The words hit me like a physical blow, like he'd reached across the table and struck me. Claire, not pottery, not overtime, not a stupid, forgivable lie about wanting to surprise me. Another woman. How long? I heard myself ask. 8 months. 8 months. 8 months of Thursdays while I sat alone at our table, while I reheated dinners, while I adjusted my entire life around his lies. 8 months while he was with her. Get out, I said quietly. We can work through this. Get out! Please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain. I stood up. My legs felt shaky, weak. You've been fucking someone else for 8 months. Coming home to me, lying to my face. There's nothing to explain. I ended it 2 weeks ago, I swear. Get out of my house. It's our house. Get out. My voice broke on the last word, cracked into something raw and desperate. He flinched, started crying. I'm so sorry. I never meant. You meant it every single Thursday. Every single lie. Every single time you kissed my forehead and let me believe you. Tears were streaming down my face now. Hot. Angry. Get your things and get out. He left that night. Packed a suitcase while I sat on the couch. Watched him move through our apartment like a stranger, collecting his toothbrush, his work shoes, his laptop charger. Where will you go? I asked. Hotel, I guess. Good. He stopped at the door. I love you. No, you don't. The door closed behind him. I locked it, put the chain on, stood there for a long time. Then I collapsed, fell to the floor, pressed my face against the cold tile, sobbed until there was nothing left. 8 months. I changed the locks the next morning, called a locksmith at 6 a.m., paid extra for the emergency service, filed for divorce the following week. My lawyer was a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes and sharper suits. Adultery makes this straightforward, she said, especially with 8 months of documented Thursday absences. I don't want anything except out, I told her. You should want more. You're entitled to more. I just want my name back. His boss called me 2 days after he moved out. I'm so sorry, he said. If I'd realized what I was doing at that dinner, you helped me find out the truth, I said. My voice was hollow, empty. Thank you for the dinner invitation. If there's anything I can do, there's not. I hung up. My husband tried to reconcile, sent flowers to my office, roses, my favorite. I threw them in the dumpster behind the building. He wrote letters, long ones, explaining, apologizing, begging. I burned them unread. He showed up at my apartment twice, knocked for 20 minutes the first time. I sat on the couch with headphones on, couldn't hear him but knew he was there. The second time he called through the door, please, I need to talk to you. Talk to my lawyer. I made a mistake. One mistake. 8 months of Thursdays isn't one mistake. It's 240 decisions. 240 times you chose her. He stopped knocking after that. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. Quick, clean. We had no kids, no shared assets beyond the apartment, which I kept. He signed everything without fighting. I went back to being me, my name, my life, without him in it. A year later, a package arrived at my door. No return address. Just my name and handwriting I recognized. Inside was a set of handmade bowls. 6 of them. Beautiful. Blue glaze like the dress I'd worn that night. A note tucked between them. I did eventually take the class. These are for you. I'm sorry isn't enough, but I'll spend the rest of my life being sorry anyway. I looked at the bowls for a long time. They were well made, carefully crafted, probably took months to complete. I put them back in the box. Never opened it again. Dropped it at a donation center that afternoon. Some lies are too heavy to eat from, even when they're beautiful.